You weren't supposed to know this. Most men spend years chasing women without ever understanding what actually drives female arousal. Not what movies told you, not what she says she wants. The raw, unfiltered science behind it, the desire science that operates deep in her subconscious, completely below the surface. Here's the truth nobody handed you. Attraction triggers aren't random. They're wired. They're biological. And once you understand how they truly work, everything changes. Your masculine mindset, your presence, your results. This isn't theory, this is sexual psychology. And it's about to reframe everything you thought you knew. If this kind of raw, eye-opening content speaks to you, drop a like, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and let's build this community of men who are actually willing to grow. It means more than you know. The science behind how women become horny. The truth nobody told you. Female arousal isn't what most men think it is. It's not a switch you flip with the right words or the right moves. It's a deeply complex, layered process, one that starts long before anything physical ever happens. Science has been studying this for decades, and the findings are honestly mind-blowing. The truth is, desire science reveals that a woman's arousal is predominantly psychological, emotional, and contextual. And if a man doesn't understand this fundamental reality, he'll keep missing the mark, every single time, no matter how hard he tries. Here's something that might sting a little. Most men approach attraction completely backwards. They focus on what they want to do, what they want to say, how they want to be seen. But sexual psychology teaches us something radically different. Women respond to how you make them feel, not to what you do. That internal emotional experience she has around you is what ignites everything else. Male awareness starts the moment a man stops performing and starts connecting, genuinely, deeply, and without desperation clouding every interaction he has. Let's talk biology for a second, because this is where it gets fascinating. Biological drives are running the show whether anyone admits it or not. Women are wired, evolutionarily, to be drawn toward men who signal safety, strength, and resourcefulness. Not just physical strength, mind you, but psychological strength. A man who knows who he is, who doesn't crumble under pressure, who leads without needing applause. That man triggers something ancient inside her. Primal instincts don't care about your Instagram following or your cologne. They respond to something far deeper, far more real. Now, hypergamy is a word that makes a lot of men uncomfortable. But it shouldn't. It's simply the biological tendency for women to be attracted to men they perceive as higher value. It's not manipulation. It's not games. It's nature doing what nature does. Understanding female nature through this lens removes all the bitterness and confusion men carry. When you stop resisting this truth and start working with it, everything shifts. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop reacting and start leading. That shift alone is worth more than any pickup line ever written. One of the most underestimated attraction triggers is emotional tension. Not drama, not conflict, but polarity. Sexual polarity is the energetic difference between masculine and feminine energy, and it's the invisible force that creates chemistry. When a man is fully grounded in his masculine core, decisive, calm, purposeful, and a woman is free to move in her feminine energy, the attraction that emerges is almost gravitational. Most modern men have been conditioned to suppress that masculine edge, and it's quietly killing their relationship dynamics without them even realizing what's happening. Feminine psychology operates on a frequency most men have never been taught to tune into. Women process the world emotionally and relationally, and that's not a weakness, that's just how they're wired. A man with high emotional intelligence knows how to create a space where a woman feels seen, safe, and desired, all at once. That combination is extraordinarily rare. And when she finds a man who can hold that space without flinching, without needing constant validation, without collapsing into neediness, she responds deeply, naturally, almost inevitably, because that man becomes magnetic in ways she can't fully explain. Here's a practical angle. Subconscious attraction is built through consistency, not grand gestures. Think about it. Women aren't falling for men because of one perfect date. They're drawn in over time through patterns. The way he handles stress, the way he speaks about his goals, the way he shows up or doesn't. Human behavior research consistently shows that women read microsignals constantly, often without conscious awareness. So the question isn't what big move you should make next. The real question is, what signals are you sending every single day? And are they working for you or against you? Seduction psychology isn't about tricks. It never was. Real seduction is about presence, and presence is something you build from the inside out. A man who walks into a room knowing exactly who he is, what he wants, and where he's going, carries an energy that women feel before he even opens his mouth. That's not magic. That's dominant psychology in its purest, most natural form. It's not about being loud or aggressive. It's about being settled, unshakable. The kind of man who doesn't need the room's approval to feel complete, confident, and fully alive. Let's talk about psychological triggers for a moment, because this is where science gets incredibly practical. Studies in evolutionary psychology show that women are wired to respond to men who display high social intelligence, emotional control, and a clear sense of direction. These aren't just personality traits, they're signals, deep, ancient signals that bypass logic entirely and speak directly to her primal instincts. When you lead a conversation with clarity, hold eye contact without aggression, and respond to chaos with calm, you're not just being a good guy. You're activating something biological inside her that she honestly cannot override. Consider this real scenario. A man walks into a social setting feeling anxious, seeking approval, adjusting himself to fit whatever energy is in the room. Now picture another man, same room, who moves at his own pace, speaks with intention, and laughs without performing. Which one do you think draws more attention? Alpha mindset isn't a personality type you're born with. It's a practiced state of being. It's the result of self-improvement compounded over time, built through discipline, self-awareness, and an honest commitment to becoming the best, most grounded version of yourself possible. Here's where the story gets real. There was a man a few years back who had everything society told him would make him attractive. Good job, nice apartment, decent looks. But women kept pulling away, kept friend-zoning him, kept choosing guys who, on paper, made no sense. He couldn't figure it out, so he started digging. He found red pill truth not in bitterness, but in biology and behavioral science. He studied feminine psychology, learned about sexual polarity, and slowly, deliberately, rebuilt himself from the inside. Not for women, for himself. And that shift, that internal revolution, changed everything around him. That man stopped seeking validation in every interaction. He stopped over-explaining himself. He stopped shrinking to make others comfortable. He embraced his masculine mindset fully, and something remarkable happened. Women started noticing him differently, not because he changed his wardrobe or learned a script, because his energy changed. His dating strategy became simple. Be the most grounded, most purposeful version of himself and let that do the work. No games, no manipulation, just alignment. And that alignment, that congruence between who he was on the inside and how he showed up on the outside, became his greatest asset. Now, let's bring in some desire science that most people have never heard discussed openly. Research from the University of Texas, led by psychologist David Buss, one of the world's leading evolutionary psychologists, shows that women consistently rate psychological dominance, social intelligence, and ambition as top attraction triggers over physical appearance. You can explore his work through his book, The Evolution of Desire, available on Amazon or your local library. This is an opinion. This is peer-reviewed science confirming what red pill truth communities have been saying for years, finally backed by academic research and real data. Male awakening happens the moment a man realizes he's been playing by rules that were never designed to help him win. The cultural narrative around attraction has been, for a long time, dangerously misleading. Men were told to be more passive, more agreeable, more accommodating, and the results? Confusion, resentment. A generation of men who are kind, well-meaning, and completely unattractive to the women they genuinely want. Human behavior science doesn't lie. Women are not attracted to passivity. They're attracted to presence. And presence is built through radical honesty with yourself, starting with who you are right now. Let's get even more practical. If you want to sharpen your emotional intelligence and understand feminine psychology at a deeper level, start with these resources. Read Models by Mark Manson, a book that bridges self-development with authentic attraction in a way that's grounded and genuinely transformative. Follow researchers like Dr. Robert Cialdini for influence in behavioral psychology. Dive into YouTube channels focused on stoic masculinity and applied psychology. Knowledge compounds. Every book, every video, every honest conversation you have with yourself about who you are and who you're becoming is an investment in your personal transformation that pays dividends forever. One thing that separates men who thrive in relationship dynamics from those who struggle is this: the ability to hold tension without collapsing. When a woman tests a man, and she will, whether consciously or not, she's checking for stability. She wants to see if he folds under pressure or holds his ground with grace. This is deeply connected to subconscious attraction. She may not even realize she's doing it, but her nervous system is reading his response like a blueprint. A man who stays calm, clear, and unshaken during those moments communicates something incredibly powerful without saying a single word. And here's something most men completely overlook in their dating strategy. Silence is a tool. Powerful men don't fill every moment with words. They're comfortable in stillness. They don't rush to explain, justify, or entertain. That comfort with silence communicates self-assurance at a level that words rarely can. Seduction psychology has long recognized that mystery is magnetic. When a woman can't fully predict you, when you're not an open book desperately seeking her approval, her curiosity activates. And curiosity, as any student of desire science knows, is one of the most powerful precursors to genuine, deep, lasting attraction. Quick pause right here, and this is important. If this content is shifting something inside you, if it's making you see things you've been missing for way too long, don't sit on that feeling. Hit that like button right now, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a man who needs to hear it. This knowledge is rare, and the men who find it and act on it are the ones who actually change their lives. We're just getting started. Let's keep going. Sexual psychology makes one thing abundantly clear. Context is everything. A woman's arousal doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's shaped by how safe she feels, how respected she feels, and how desired she feels in a way that feels genuine, not performative. A man who understands this stops trying to manufacture attraction through tactics and starts creating the conditions for it to grow naturally. That's a massive shift in thinking. It moves a man from a reactive position, always trying to respond correctly, into a proactive one, where he's consciously designing the emotional environment around him every single day. Let's talk about biological drives and how they connect to something men rarely think about: voice and body language. Research from UCLA's communication studies shows that over 90% of emotional communication is nonverbal. Your tone, your posture, the pace at which you speak, the way you occupy physical space. These are all broadcasting signals constantly. Female arousal at its subconscious level is heavily influenced by these nonverbal cues. A slow, deliberate speaking pace signals confidence. Open, grounded posture signals safety and strength. Small adjustments in how you carry yourself can dramatically shift how women experience your presence in any room. Here's a truth about hypergamy that liberates men instead of making them bitter. It's not personal. A woman's drive toward higher value men isn't about rejecting you specifically. It's about her biology doing exactly what it was designed to do. When you internalize this, you stop taking rejection as a verdict on your worth and start seeing it as data. Data about where you are in your journey and where you still have room to grow. Self-improvement becomes not a desperate attempt to be good enough for someone, but a personal mission to become the fullest, most powerful expression of who you were always meant to be. Dominance psychology gets misunderstood constantly, so let's clear this up once and for all. Dominance, in the psychological sense, has nothing to do with control or aggression. It's about ownership. Ownership of your time, your decisions, your emotional state, your direction in life. A dominant man, in the truest sense, is one who has stopped outsourcing his sense of self to other people's opinions. He leads his own life with clarity and conviction. And that energy, that unmistakable ownership of self, is something feminine psychology responds to at a cellular level. It's not something she decides to feel. It simply happens, naturally and powerfully. Think about relationship dynamics in terms of polarity. The more clearly a man inhabits his masculine energy, the more space he creates for a woman to inhabit her feminine energy. And in that polarity, in that beautiful, natural contrast, attraction thrives. This is why sexual polarity is so foundational. It's not about gender roles in a rigid, outdated sense. It's about energy. A man who is grounded, directive, and purposeful creates a natural magnetic pull with a woman who is open, expressive, and emotionally fluid. Remove that polarity, and attraction fades, regardless of how much love or history exists between two people. Male awareness at its highest level includes understanding your own emotional patterns. Most men have been taught, directly or indirectly, to suppress emotion, to be stoic in the wrong way, which means cold and disconnected rather than grounded and emotionally intelligent. True stoic masculinity, the kind rooted in Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, is about mastery of your inner world, not the absence of it. A man who knows his triggers, who understands why he reacts the way he does, and who can navigate his inner landscape with honesty and discipline, is a man who shows up differently in every area of his life, including his relationships. Let's revisit that man from earlier. After months of studying sexual psychology, applying self-improvement principles, and genuinely working on his emotional intelligence, something unexpected happened. He stopped thinking about women so much, not because he became indifferent, but because he became full. He had a mission, he had momentum, he had standards. And that fullness, that sense of a man living his purpose unapologetically, became the most powerful subconscious attraction signal he could ever send. Women began to pursue him, not because he played games, but because he became genuinely, undeniably magnetic from the inside out. Psychological triggers around attraction also include how a man talks about his past and his future. A man who speaks about his life with ownership, without blame, and without a victim narrative, signals psychological maturity at a deep level. Women, whether consciously or not, are always assessing long-term potential. Female nature is wired to look for stability, growth, and vision. A man who owns his story, who has processed his pain without being defined by it, and who moves forward with clear intention, communicates something extraordinarily attractive. Not just to women, but to the world. That energy opens doors in every direction. Here's a practical exercise rooted in personal transformation. Spend 1 week paying close attention to every moment you seek external validation, every time you check for approval in someone's eyes, every time you change what you were going to say because of how you think it will land. Write it down. No judgment, just observation. This simple act of honest self-awareness, recommended by therapists and behavioral coaches alike, begins to break the validation-seeking pattern at its root. Apps like Reflectly or journaling platforms like Day One are excellent tools to support this practice. Awareness is always the first, most essential step toward real change. Alpha mindset is not a destination. It's a daily practice. It's the man who wakes up before he feels like it, who does the hard thing before the easy one, who tells the truth even when a comfortable lie is available, who holds his boundaries not out of rigidity but out of self-respect. These daily micro-decisions, invisible to the outside world, accumulate into a character that radiates confidence without effort. Human behavior research consistently shows that sustained discipline rewires the brain over time, literally changing how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you. That rewiring is available to every man willing to commit to the process. Everything covered here, from biological drives to sexual polarity, from feminine psychology to dominant psychology, points to one undeniable conclusion. The most powerful thing a man can do for his relationship dynamics is to become deeply, unshakably himself. Not a performance, not a strategy. Just a man so fully alive in his own purpose, values, and identity that his presence alone communicates what most men spend years trying to say. Personal transformation is not a luxury, it's a responsibility. And the man who accepts that responsibility, who does the inner work without excuses, is the man who changes not just his love life, but every dimension of his existence. So here's the real question. What are you going to do with everything you just learned? Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. You didn't come here to be entertained. You came here because something inside you knows it's time to level up, to stop guessing and to start understanding what's actually happening beneath the surface of attraction, desire, and human connection. Think about the man in that story. He didn't have special gifts. He didn't have a secret formula. He had one thing, the willingness to look inward and do the work honestly without excuses. And that choice changed the entire direction of his life. So ask yourself right now, am I showing up as the most grounded, most purposeful version of myself? Am I leading my own life with clarity, or am I still waiting for something outside of me to change first? You already know the answer. And that answer is your starting point. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment below and finish this sentence. The one thing I'm changing starting today is, let's make this a space where real men hold each other accountable. That's how growth actually happens. To every single man who watched this all the way through, that means everything. Seriously. In a world full of distractions, you chose to invest in yourself today, and that decision matters more than you know. Thank you, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. If this video added value to your life, please give it a like. It helps more men find this content. Share it with someone in your circle who needs to hear this. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because what's coming next will go even deeper. The journey doesn't stop here. It's just getting started.